There was a time when selling was limited by distance. In the agricultural age, you sold within walking distance. Then came the industrial age with factories, logistics, and mass production when distribution expanded, but borders still mattered. Now we are in the digital age in which products can be multiplied instantly and distribution is borderless. So here is the real question. If geography is no longer the problem, why do most businesses still fail to sell globally? Right? And in the first part of this series, I introduced the creation to distribution framework in which we looked at God's command to the human race: be fruitful, multiply, replenish, and replenish has to do with distribution, and this also applies to business. And we established that we are now in the age where distribution is no longer limited by geography, yet many businesses still cannot sell beyond their borders, which tells us something. Businesses do not fail at global sales because global selling is impossible. They fail because they approach it locally with local thinking and system. The internet removed the borders, but it did not remove the need for clarity, trust, and positioning. So let's look at the real reasons why businesses fail to sell globally. Number one, unclear positioning. If people outside your location cannot understand who you help, what you sell, and why it matters, they wouldn't buy from you. Who do you help? Are you helping single mothers, those traveling from one country to the other, young professionals? Who do you help and what do you sell? And why does it matter? Right? If you are selling a book, I hope you know you are not selling a book, but the transformation the transformation through the book. So what is your product helping the end user achieve? And this boils down to your unique selling proposition. Local customers may tolerate the confusion because they can see you to ask questions, they can ask for further clarification, or probably they even know you personally. But global customers, they wouldn't do that. Instead of that, they scroll, compare, and move on. And this is the teaching line. Confusion is expensive on the global sale platform. Clarity, in the other hand, converts. Now, here is the second reason why businesses do not sell globally, and that is mindset. And this is the biggest barrier. Many people subconsciously believe that people abroad wouldn't buy from them. They say my business is too small, or I need to relocate first before I can sell on the global platform. This is the biggest barrier why most businesses do not sell globally. But here is the truth, and it's simple. People do not actually buy from locations, they buy the solution. Your location is really not relevant. If you are solving real problems, they would buy from you. People have real problems, right? And if you are able to provide clear solutions with reliable delivery, you have gotten their attention. If your mind has not crossed borders, your sales never will. And here is the third reason: low digital trust. Global buyers do not know you, right? They cannot walk into your office, or they cannot ask a friend nearby or verify you physically. So trust must be built digitally. And low digital trust looks like you don't have a clear online presence, you don't have a website, no proof of work, no testimonials. Even for you, before you buy a product online, you know what you do. You do some due diligence. You want to know if you are able to trust the person you want to buy from. You check for testimonials, you check if they have online presence. So if you don't have these that would help your digital trust, you are not going to scale sale globally. So in a way, trust is the currency of global sales. And without it, even your paid ad will not work. It will fail because before people buy, they need to trust the person they are buying from, right? And this is the fourth point why businesses do not sell globally. Fear of visibility. Some people are skilled, capable, and ready, really, but they are hidden. They fear criticism. They fear exposure. They fear rejection. So they are hidden locally. They are not showcasing what they are doing. And if you are hidden, if you are not known, how would people buy from you on a global scale? So you need to be seen. You cannot sell globally while hiding locally. So global sales rewards those who show up consistently. So let's look at some questions that are possibly running through your mind. Question 1, can someone choose a product that cannot be scaled? The answer to that is yes, absolutely. And we have many people that are already putting so much energy into a product that cannot be scaled. What does it mean? What does cannot be scaled really mean? What does it mean? A product is not scalable when it is 100% dependent on the owner's time. It cannot be delivered without the owner's presence, right? So in a way, it cannot be replicated, delegated, digitalized, or even multiplied. So in a way, the output is capped by the hours, energy, or location of that individual. And there are quite a number of products and services that are carved into this, and you need to look at a solution to that. The problem with this kind of a product is with the business design. Let's look at the third question. Examples of products that are difficult or impossible to scale. I will look at quite a number. 1, pure time for money services. Example, one-on-one private lessons with no recording. By the time you record the private lessons, you are creating a system that can help you scale. Or one-on-one consultation with no system. Or personal errands requiring physical presence. For instance, again, hairstyling done one client at a time. If the business stops when you stop working, then it's not scalable. So you need to find a way to build a system that makes it scalable and make it sell globally, right? Highly local, physical, not transferable services. There are quite a number of examples here too. House cleaning without systems of staff, security guarding without a company structure, manual labor that is tied to one location, and again, services with no productization. The idea behind this is when you create a product, you should always have it in mind to multiply the product and create it in a way that is scalable. So you need to create systems, behind the product. Even if there are products that seems as though cannot be scaled, you can create a system behind it, right? You can create an ecosystem around the product that makes it scale. Let's use a dry cleaning service as an example. Can dry cleaning sell beyond borders? Of course, the answer would be like the core service itself does not sell or scale globally. You can't dry clean clothes, for instance, in Nigeria and deliver it to Canada. In a way, it's not feasible, right? So what then should you do? Or if you have other products that are similar to this case study, what should you do? Now, let's look at some insight into this. The service itself may not scale, but the system around it can help it scale. And this distribution changes everything, right? Let's look at some of the things you can do to help such a product. In this case, dry cleaning service, right? Number 1, you can productize the knowledge. For example, training programs for other dry cleaners. Probably you have a special way in which you dry clean your clothes and all that. You can turn those into training programs, right? Or probably online courses. This also applies to other professionals that involves your physical presence. So you can find a way to turn what you know into a knowledge product. In that way, that knowledge product can scale and cross borders. You can even franchise the system, right? You can franchise what you know and the system you have put in place. You know, what travels globally really is the experience, the process, and the know-how behind the service itself, right? Now you can create other supporting products like this case study we are talking about. How about branded cleaning products, okay, or fabric care solutions that is unique to you, or probably stain removal kits or equipment sourcing guides? You know, you are experienced in this field probably for 10 years, 15 years, and you have encountered problems, you know, and you have found solutions to such problems. Probably is the equipment you are using, right? Why not create a guide to help other people? Or the service becomes this way, the service becomes an ecosystem, right? So that's another way. How about franchising or even licensing your system? This is how local services can expand, you know, globally. How about moving from B to C, you know, to B to B? What I mean from B to C is a business to consumer, you know, while B to B is business to business. Instead of just servicing, you know, the end users, why not B to B? In this case, consulting for hotels or hospitals. You know, how can you even put a system in place for them so that their laundry is taken care of? In that way, you are turning your expertise into something that can scale. That means you can be anywhere in the world and provide such services to an institution in another location entirely. Or probably that will involve your presence maybe 1 or 2 times when you set up that system for them, or providing advice, you know, concerning such operations. So you are moving from B to C to B to B, or even selling systems and not washing, you know, clothes. So you can take this insight into other products that you think are unable to scale or unable to sell, you know, globally. Or, you know, you can use this to take products that are difficult to multiply. So if you are able to create systems around such product, you find out that such product is in a way scalable if you add such insights to it. Let's look at another case study, and that is surgeries and medical practice. This example is important because many professionals assume their field cannot be scaled at all. But let's be clear. Surgery is not scalable when it looks like this. You know, the surgeon operates on one patient at a time. You know, the physical presence is mandatory, you know, and the income is tied to the hours, stamina, and the location where the surgery is being performed. And when the surgeon is unavailable, the income stops. And this is a classic example of time for money exchange or location bound service. Now, the surgical act itself does not scale globally, in quotes, you know. However, a surgeon can still build a scalable model. Again, the key insight here is about creating a system around the core value or the core service you are offering. The procedure may not scale in a way, but the knowledge, the systems, and expertise can. For instance, you know, creating education and training materials around this expertise. How about surgical training programs? How about master classes for junior doctors? How about special maybe learning classes for that unique procedure of yours? How about online procedural courses? How about exam preparation materials? Here are just a few among the knowledge products you can produce that can scale. In fact, all you need to do is to create these ones, and it's going to sell multiple times. So you do the work once and you continue to harvest the product in the long term. How about creating systems and protocols, right? Like writing maybe a standard of operations for hospitals, designing a protocol or a patient care pathways, right? That would help probably a service or a surgical procedure that you are involved in. And you can even give these to institutions. The other thing that you can consider is research, publishing, and this great authority, for you. You can go all the way to even write medical books. You publish your research materials, speak at conferences, and all these are scalable. This subject will be incomplete without talking of technology-enabled models like telemedicine, probably pre- and post-operative care. So this time around, you have remote case reviews, second opinion services, clinical decision support, while you are giving the support at a remote location. So even if you are a surgeon, you can look at systems that can help your service and your expertise scale beyond the time to payment model or the local model in which you have to be present before your service is enjoyed. So the surgeon is no longer limited to one operating room with this technology model, and the world is embracing technology even in medicine. Now, some products travel while some products don't, but every business has something that can travel if you can identify it correctly. Your activity may be local, but the value can be global. So from what we have seen, what does not scale? Manual effort, time-only services, physical presence, and what skills? Knowledge, systems, frameworks, processes, and digital products. Thank you.